Am I the a-hole for telling my 60-year-old dad to move out after he hit a woman in his room for 2 nights? A 29 male had my 60-year-old dad move in with my fiancée and me because he was struggling financially and wouldn't be able to make it without our help. He's currently on disability and has a number of chronic health conditions. All we've asked from him is $600 for rent, which is only 17% of our total expenses, rent, and utilities. He's been divorced twice and often complains about being lonely. At times, he becomes really annoying because all he can think about is getting laid. For example, on the first day of our family trip to Italy, to visit relatives he hadn't seen in 8 years, he went on 2 dates with girls half his age, convinced they weren't trying to scam him. He chose to do that instead of spending time with his family. This past weekend, he abruptly tried to call me, then texted saying he was going on a date with a 25-year-old and later hanging out with a female friend. As the night went on, he texted again saying he was bringing that friend over. For context, he often surrounds himself with people my fiancé and I don't feel comfortable being around. No judgment toward them. But we have legitimate concerns about the potential for bad situations or affiliations with unsafe people. He frequently hangs out with sex workers and one escort. While I don't care what he does in his personal time, I don't want that kind of activity in our home. Anyway, he brings over this 40-year-old woman. Let's call her Sherry. I know we shouldn't judge by appearances, but given my dad's history, it was hard not to assume the worst. Sherry like a crackhead. He claimed he's known her for 18 years, but I've never seen her before. He insisted she's not a drug user, but smokes a ton of weed. She came over and hung out with him while my fiancé and I kept quiet, even though we were uncomfortable. She ended up staying the night. They kept me up all night with their loud talking, and I had work at 7 a.m. To make things worse, we found it odd and frankly inappropriate that she was doing her laundry at our place. She ended up staying the entire next day. When I told my dad that she couldn't stay any longer because we were uncomfortable, he ignored me and kept her hidden in his room for another night. At that point, I felt incredibly disrespected, especially considering all the support we've given him. I tried to talk to him about it, but he ignored me the whole day and avoided the house. When we finally spoke 2 days later, he got defensive and blew up when I tried to set some boundaries and voice my concerns. This is typical behavior for him. He gaslit me, saying things like, I don't ever tell you who you can or can't have over. You don't own this place. We're just renting, and you're trying to run my life, all to avoid taking accountability. I told him that if he's unhappy with the boundaries we've set, maybe he should consider moving out. I emphasized that we're happy to have him stay as long as he respects our rules. I even told him we don't care if he hangs out with these people, just not in our home. We said he could get a motel room or go to their place if that's what he wants. But he thinks that because he pays rent, he should be able to bring over whoever he wants. We even moved into a larger place specifically so he could have his own room and we could help him out financially. Now I just feel like he's being completely ungrateful. So, am I the a-hole for telling him to move out, even though we said he can stay if he follows our rules?